Okay, we'll see if this works. It's Rika Star Rose. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new, thank you. If you have been here before, I'm going to be closer to the mic, closer to the camera until I actually like this, really. This works for me. But I do need an extender cable for the new microphone. So until that happens, I'm going to be a little closer. And I'm very squinty because it's very sunny. It's absolutely stunning out here. It's a lot warmer today than it was actually yesterday. So I came out yesterday and it wasn't quite as warm. And so it wasn't quite as warm. But it is warm today. It's gorgeous. And I did actually stop by the other location that sometimes I record at, where I started the whole channel. And it's really funny. I sat by the lake for a minute because I like doing that, to let the sun hit my face. But there's still snow mountains over there. There's old snow piled up in that location, and I can't even get to the spot that I normally record in. So that wasn't even an option. So I came over here, again, without a topic. And the one thing that I did say, and I'm going to reiterate this, for 2026, this perceived notion of this idea of 2026, one thing that I want to do for this year, for this channel, is definitely make a new list, make a new running list of topics that I would like to cover. I did start that, and I did not bring it with me, and I don't remember what the topic was. So, and this is what I'm saying, that we are in afternoon. It's Monday. It's actually not Sunday. So I recorded yesterday on my typical Sunday. It's Monday now. It is afternoon. Not real late afternoon. It's still early enough. So for those of you who don't know, who haven't heard me say this a million times, and this could happen too because I'm a little close. I don't have a lot of give on this cable. For those of you who may or may not have heard me say this 100 to 900 times, I prefer to do these videos outside as a comfort zone hack. I like to get and stay out of my comfort zone, and there were some weekends that I did not come out and record. There was a lot going on. The town was a mess for a while with the snow, and even after the snow, for the most part, went away, there were still snow piles because it all basically just froze, and then it stayed like that because the temperature just did not drop for weeks, or raise. I keep saying the temperature didn't drop. I said that in the snow video. The temperature did not increase. It did not go up enough for anything to melt. So that stuck around for a while. And so anyway, I prefer to do them outside as a comfort zone hack, because if there's one thing I want to promote and one thing I want to maintain consistency of in my own life, it's to get and stay out of my comfort zone. Very much get and stay out of my comfort zone. And I was even thinking, maybe I'll start doing these videos. I want to start traveling like this. It's amazing what good weather will do to your mentality. It's it's sunny, I'm out in the sun, and I'm getting all this inspiration. It's now I want to travel. I want to definitely take this elsewhere. I want to take this on the road and go to some other locations and record, really mix it up and do some traveling, for the sake of the channel, and it would actually get me to travel. I think I'm just gonna pick some sort of random places that I think look cool, and maybe just pick up and go and then record somewhere in that location. So that's an idea that I have. I think that would be very, very fun. And I also thought about that, the inspired idea to go on that road trip last year that I ended up not going on. That is definitely a plan for this year. That is a plan for some more weather like this. I want to make sure that we have good weather on the roads for that. But that is definitely something I'm going to do. So I guess I don't have a topic as typically. I did record something in the car, and I deleted it to I deleted it because I did yesterday's video, and I don't think I ever put the other video on my hard drive, so I had to actually delete it. But I talked about focus again. So on this channel, and this is a really good thing to cover. So with these habits, because I still watch a lot of other channels, so I watch their take on these concepts, law of attraction, law of assumption. All these things are very similar. I think they're kind of like the same thing in my opinion. It's just they're explained differently, to different degrees of depth, I think. But at the end of the day, they're really the same thing. So I do watch other channels still, just because I enjoy this type of content, and I enjoy how seeing how other people present it. I don't come out here with a script. I don't ever plan on coming out here with a script. The one thing I do plan on coming out here with is a list of topics. So if something's not flowing, then I can kind of review some things I know that I want to talk about, generally speaking, and then see where my little navigation system takes me. But focus. So I discussed that a long time ago, and that's really very important for manifesting, getting the things that you want, whether it's a situation, a thing, more money, your focus. So I believe our focus has been hijacked quite extensively throughout our life, and there's many ways that this has happened, but the thing that you could do is take control over it now. So if you're aware of this, we find it difficult to focus, and a lot of people have a hard time focusing on positive things. So it's like we've been really trained into this like negative focus, this negative perception, being afraid to kind of allow things to be good, which is really quite sad. It's really quite sad. It's depressing, actually. That's not the way you're meant to live. That's not the way you are meant to live. It just isn't. Just please know that. If there's anything that I need to get out in this video, and this is the only thing that you hear, that is not the way that you are meant to live. You are meant to live. You are meant to be in a state of happiness, in a state of flow, creativity, inspiration, motivation, ambition. And this will all happen if you learn to manage your focus. And this is absolutely something I practice. So the reason I mention the other content creators that I still follow is that sometimes there are some people that will mention like that you don't need techniques, you just need to slide into the new identity. And I do very much agree with that. That is definitely something you could do. That's something I think that I could do with enough focus. For the people who are like more new to this type of content or information, I think it could be a little bit more challenging. Now, does that mean it will be? No, because your beliefs create your reality. If you believe it can be easy, then it can be easy for you. But I think that I've arrived at a place where a lot of these ideas are probably even coming to me in the first place, and I'm aligning with these types of content creators in the first place because I'm at a place of having done so much energy work and introspection and just really like learning about these concepts for so long now that these things seem so much more normal to me. I mean, they are normal to me. Like it's not like this shocking, crazy thing to me. This is very normal in how I live my life. But for the person or the people who it's not normal, it's very new. These concepts are very new and foreign. You might want to do some techniques. And one of the techniques is when I talk about focus, Abraham Hicks, the 16, it might be 17, I don't know. I'll say 16 because I think I said it in an earlier video. So we'll stay with 16. If you add an extra second, you definitely can't go wrong with that. The idea is that you learn to focus on something that you want to see for 16 seconds. And that's it at first. You're going to see some changes happen in your reality. Now, work that up to about 64 seconds. That's extremely, extremely powerful focus because we are so inundated with so much information and so much nonsense really throughout the day that just derails our focus. So maybe you want to focus on the house that you want to manifest, or you want to move, or you want to buy a car, or you want this relationship, but every time you go to think about it, something just takes over your consciousness and completely takes you out of that focus. It's like, oh, wait, but this problem over here, you got to focus on that. Remember this problem? You don't have to focus on your problems all day to solve them. By the way, you shouldn't. Because if you've noticed, it isn't until you walk away from a problem that you actually align with the solution. And you've probably found that and just maybe didn't realize it, or maybe you found that to be true and you did realize it. Any kind of problem, whether it's a literal math problem that you're trying to solve or any kind of problem, it isn't until you drop that problem and focus on something else that lightens your energy that solution can actually come to you. And just try to review that, like a time when you were just overly focused on a problem and just focusing on it, because you're like, I'm afraid to forget about it, because if I forget about it, then I'm not going to do anything about it. And that is so not true, by the way. You are not going to come up with a solution to that problem as long as you are focusing on it. So this is where we talk about focus and the techniques. And the reason I talked about the other YouTubers one more time to bring this around, tie it up like a bow, it's not to live your entire life from there on. I feel like, I don't know if it's the cable that's doing that little thing, creating that little shadow, but it's not the techniques. Like, you're not supposed to, I'm not saying this so that you can live your entire life in a perpetual state of technique doing. The idea is that I've mentioned on like 1,000 of the other, I only have like 20 some videos, but that I publish. I have way more than that that I've actually recorded. But it's not to live in a perpetual state of technique practicing. It's to, as I mentioned in other videos, in like the book Atomic Habits, it's establishing a habit mentally. So we can establish habits physically. We talk about like the workout thing, establishing really healthy habits. And, fitness is one of them. There's also habitual ways of thinking as a habit. And when you establish, so the goal of me talking about the techniques, my angle with these techniques is to ultimately establish a habit around the techniques. Okay, I'll do a really brief rundown of all the stuff I just said, because I don't know where this shut off, but okay, really quick. So, because we were getting good here. It could be easier if you're struggling with these concepts and applying them easily. I don't ever want to make it sound like any of this is difficult, because it does not have to be difficult at all, ever. What makes it difficult is our thinking that it's difficult, because we are programmed in the complete opposite of these concepts. So there are some YouTubers that do talk about you don't need techniques, and I agree, you don't necessarily need techniques. Now, it could make it easier to do the techniques. So for example, I was just talking about the 16-second, or I don't know if it's 16 or 17. I'm just going to go with 16 because that's what I said last time. 16-second visualization technique. The idea behind this is not to live your entire life in a perpetual state of doing techniques. It is to establish a mental habit. So we have the physical habits, we have the workouts, we have healthy eating, we have different things that we do that are healthy, with me regularly editing, that's getting back to that. That's a healthy habit for me. That's a healthy physical habit. So these techniques are a way to establish a healthy mental habit. So we have a lot of negativity and things that we get inundated with throughout the day that are just nonsense. And that really derails your focus. Say you're trying to focus on something positive, or you're looking at pictures of a house that you want to move to, and just like a problem that you have running in the background just like comes to the forefront of your mind, makes itself known, so to speak. A problem comes in and makes itself known, which is very common because we've been very programmed to be in this like problem focus and this troubleshooting mentality all day. Like we're always supposed to be just like solving problems all day, and that's just not the way we are meant live at all. So the idea behind the technique, and the reason I talk about them and the reason I support them and I think it's great, is because it's a really nice way to establish the technique as a permanent habit. So we're not going to perpetually do the 16-second and then move up to the 64-second, move up to the 64-second technique, and like this is going to be like a technique we do for the rest of our life. Of course you can do that. The idea is that this becomes a habit, that it becomes just easy for you to focus on the things that you actually want, the things that you actually want to see. So that is my reasoning behind why I talk about techniques, and I will talk about techniques. And I also believe that you don't need a technique. It's whatever you think, whatever works for you, whatever resonates with you. And for me, techniques have resonated with me. I've gotten a lot of success out of doing techniques. Again, you don't have to do techniques, and you don't have to believe that you need to do techniques. But the goal here, and I want to reiterate it again, is to establish that as a permanent habit, as the way you just think. Like it becomes just normal for you to think about the things that you want. It becomes normal for you to think about the things that you want to see. It's not this this difficult thing to focus on. I mean, and I always go back, a lot of people that have channels with similar content talk about athletes, and it's a really good example because those people, athletes, they have to train their focus. They have to. Like, you cannot do those things successfully if you do not have the proper focus. So this is where it's just one of the examples that I like to use. It's just getting back to focus. So however way you choose to get to the focus, the correct focus, the focus that's going to get you the things that you want in your life. Obviously meditation is one of those ways. And I talk about EFT, and I'm going to go deeper into the EFT. I like to become certified in EFT. So we'll talk about that later. But these are just, they're just tools that I find to be very, very useful. They've helped me a lot, and that's why I share them on my channel. So EFT, what that does, and I've mentioned this before, I'll just mention it briefly because I like to see that tree a little bit in there in the shot. I'm not a professional practitioner or anything. I'd like to be able to talk about it more on my channel in depth, and I think the proper way to go about that would be to become certified. And so the thing with EFT, emotional freedom technique, is that what it does, you're tapping on acupressure points on the body while saying something. You could do it on all different types of topics. Obviously, it's like something you're afraid of, something you're worried about, something you're sad about. It's about bringing your emotions about something that's upsetting you. It's moving that through and out your body, because we get these emotions get stuck in our body, and then we get stuck in a loop cycle about certain topics, and we can't get past them, and then they create a block. They could create a block for things that you're trying to do in your life. So that's why I believe in it so much. It is a way of, it actually interrupts the thought patterns that keep you on that loop. And I find that to be just immensely fascinating. I find that to be very, very fascinating. Before I go any further with that in depth, I just want to say that I didn't really know what else to talk about today other than get back to the importance of your focus, because your focus is everything. When you manage your focus, you are really dictating what you're aligning with. Your focus, and then there is that, sometimes a feeling will come upon you maybe before thoughts happen. And And that could be true too. Sometimes it's like you're thinking about something, you're thinking about something and it's conjuring up feelings. Sometimes a feeling could just come up out of nowhere and then thoughts kind of follow that feeling. But as long as you have the awareness that you could change your focus and focus very specifically, that's really a huge first step. And then that's when I get into like the techniques of just trying to set your focus on something for a specified amount of time as practice to just like exercise that muscle so that we are leaning more into things that we want to see in our lives, and we're aligning with that. We're resonating energetically with that what we want to see. I don't know if I said that right, but I think what happens is we just get stuck on these loops of negativity, and we can't change anything as long as we're stuck on that loop. And I'm not suggesting that it's easy to always get off that loop, but again, that's why I mentioned the things on my channel that I mentioned, because they're really great tools to help you get off that loop. We are very programmed, unfortunately, to think that way. And everything is designed, not everything, I shouldn't exaggerate like that, but there's like specific things that we're all aware of, social media scrolling and different types of movies and shows and things that have like a lower frequency. Those things really affect you, and they affect you on levels that you probably aren't even aware of, like throughout your day, even like after you've watched whatever it is that you've watched, or that stuff gets in there, and that's affecting your focus, and it's affecting your self-confidence, it's affecting your self-esteem, and these things are all the ingredients to living the life that you want to live, and they're very important. So I definitely want to get into identity. I think that's a really fun topic. I think it's like, I don't know how much space I have left, and I think this video is kind of longish now. Not real long, but I don't know if I want to slide into the identity video, but I did mention it in the last video, and I definitely want to dig much more deep into the identity thing, because that's just next leveling these ideas, because our identity is built on whatever our focus has been. It's whatever we think we are based on probably what we think other people thought we were, who people think we are. What really silly, superficial, Wayne Dyer put it, and that's not a quote, I don't want to misquote him, amazing human being, but he said, something to the extent of, basing our self-worth or our self-esteem on some very superficial criteria. He said something along those lines in one of the early videos that I caught that I was just like, it's very true. We base our self-esteem, our self-concept, our self-worth, and the level of confidence that we're at is built upon this very sketchy, fragile, very superficial set of rules of society. This very superficial set of criteria is what it is. So these are some really good topics I definitely want to revisit, and I want to add I want to revisit them in a way that I extend them so much further. So reactions, focus, and the identity thing is just plain fun. Like that's a fun video that, I could lapse into it here, but I'm probably going to run out of space. And I really want to touch upon that on maybe a morning when I'm just like super energized. I really want to talk about that in depth. That might be a long video, but just identity in general and the whole idea behind what it actually is. I'm going to stop here. I think I actually did not bring up fitness like extensively in this video, but that's going well. And I'll talk more about fasting, and I'm going to embark on healthy fasts and talk about my results, and of course the caffeine. We all know, for those of you who've been watching me for a while now, first of all, I appreciate you. Secondly, that's something that I'm working on. So I'll do the ending here, and I'll do another ending in the car, and I'm probably going to take a couple laps around here because it's so it's so amazingly gorgeous out. It's just making me feel really good. So again, it's Star Rose. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for subscribing if you subscribed. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not. Feel free to comment down below on anything I talked about in today's video. Feel free to comment down below on anything you'd like me to talk about in a future video, or comment down below on really anything in general. And as always, I will see you soon.